Imagine sailing across the Atlantic, only to discover a ship sailing aimlessly, void of any life, yet in perfect condition. Such was the enigma of the Mary Celeste. This merchant ship, built in Nova Scotia, Canada, embarked on its fateful journey in November 1872, bound for Italy. But the Mary Celeste would never reach its destination. Less than a month into her voyage, she was found adrift in the choppy seas of the Atlantic, completely deserted. The crew had vanished, leaving behind their personal belongings, a 6-month supply of food and water, and the ship's cargo of industrial alcohol untouched. Not a soul was aboard, and one lifeboat was missing. It was as if the 10 people on board had evaporated into thin air. The ship was in good condition with no signs of a struggle or any visible damage. The question that has baffled minds for over a century. What happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? In the wake of the discovery, the first theory emerged, the alcohol theory. This theory surmises that an alcohol explosion could have been the catalyst that led the crew of the Mary Celeste to abandon ship. To fully understand this theory, it's important to note that the Mary Celeste was carrying a significant cargo of alcohol. More specifically, she was loaded with over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. This was not the kind of alcohol you'd find in your favorite cocktail, but rather a highly flammable substance used in the manufacturing of various products. Now, imagine being aboard a ship laden with this volatile substance. A single spark could ignite the alcohol vapors, leading to an explosion. It's plausible that such an event might have frightened the crew into fleeing the ship, even if the explosion didn't cause significant damage. Supporting this theory is the discovery of 9 barrels of alcohol found empty when the Mary Celeste was located. These barrels were made of red oak, unlike the rest which were white oak. Red oak is known to be more porous, potentially allowing alcohol to evaporate more readily. Could a buildup of vapor from these barrels have caused an explosion? However, there's a twist. No signs of a fire or explosion were found on the ship. Also, wouldn't an explosion of such magnitude leave more than just empty barrels in its wake? And if the crew did abandon ship due to an explosion, why did they leave behind their personal belongings and a lifeboat that could have ensured their survival? These unanswered questions add a layer of complexity to the alcohol theory. For some, it's a plausible explanation. The fear of another explosion could have been enough for the crew to abandon a perfectly good ship. Yet, for others, the lack of physical evidence and the enigma of the abandoned lifeboat and personal effects cast a shadow of doubt. Could a fear of explosion have led the crew to abandon a perfectly good ship, or is there more to the story? Perhaps the succeeding theories might shed some light, but for now the alcohol theory remains as mysterious as the fate of the Mary Celeste's crew. As time passed, a new theory took the stage, the waterspout theory. This theory postulates a rather dramatic scenario, one where nature's fury takes center stage. Picture this. A waterspout, a tornado over water, forms near the Mary Celeste. This waterspout then causes a sudden and massive influx of water into the ship. Now imagine the utter chaos that would ensue. The crew, in a state of panic, would scramble to secure themselves and their belongings. The ship, once a symbol of safety and security, suddenly transforms into a vessel of doom. This theory is not as far-fetched as it might initially seem. In fact, there is evidence that supports it. When the Mary Celeste was discovered, she was in a disheveled state. This could be indicative of a sudden chaotic event such as a waterspout. The ship's log, which was meticulously maintained, abruptly ended a few days before she was found. Could this be because the crew was too busy battling nature's wrath to jot down their experiences? Furthermore, when the Mary Celeste was found, there was water in the ship. This could have been the result of a waterspout. However, the amount of water was not enough to sink the ship, but it might have been enough to cause panic among the crew. They might have feared that the ship was sinking and decided to abandon ship. But like any good mystery, there are counter-arguments. Skeptics argue that a waterspout wouldn't leave the ship afloat. They claim that the force of such a natural phenomenon would cause severe damage, if not outright sink the ship. Yet, the waterspout theory remains one of the most popular explanations for the mystery of the Mary Celeste. It combines the unpredictability of nature with the human element of panic and fear. Could a natural phenomenon have been the cause of this maritime mystery? The debate rages on. The mystery deepened with the advent of the seaquake theory. This theory suggests that the crew of the Mary Celeste might have been scared out of their wits by a sudden seaquake, compelling them to abandon the ship hastily. Seaquakes, also known as underwater earthquakes, are seismic activities that occur beneath the ocean bed. These underwater disturbances possess the power to generate massive waves and cause abrupt and violent shaking of the sea surface. Now, imagine being on a ship right in the middle of the ocean when such a phenomenon occurs. The ship would shake violently, and the water around would churn and roil, creating a scene straight out of a terrifying maritime nightmare. It's important to note that seaquakes were quite common in the area where the Mary Celeste was found. This part of the Atlantic Ocean is known for its seismic activity, and many seaquakes have been recorded there over the years. So, it's entirely plausible that the Mary Celeste might have been caught in the midst of one. Imagine the terror that would have gripped the crew, the ground beneath their feet, or rather, the deck beneath their feet shaking and quaking, the sea around them turning into a swirling whirlpool of chaos. It's not hard to envision why they might have felt their only option was to abandon ship, to leap into the lifeboat and row for their lives. However, if this theory were true, it would still leave some questions unanswered. The ship was found in good condition with no signs of major damage. If a seaquake had occurred, wouldn't there be some evidence of it on the ship? Furthermore, the ship's log made no mention of a seaquake or any unusual seismic activity. This theory, while plausible, is not without its holes. Yet it does offer a possible explanation for the sudden and mysterious abandonment of the Mary Celeste. It paints a picture of a frightened crew, facing an unseen and powerful force of nature, making the desperate decision to flee their ship. With each theory, the mystery only seems to deepen. What could have caused such a fright to experienced sailors? And finally, we arrive at the most dramatic of theories: mutiny or pirate attack. Let's delve into the dark and stormy waters of mutiny and piracy. Picture this. You're aboard the Mary Celeste. The salty sea air fills your lungs, and out of nowhere, a rebellion ignites or a pirate ship emerges from the fog. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? This theory suggests that either the crew revolted against their captain, or pirates attacked, forcing everyone to abandon the ship. One of the key pieces of evidence supporting this theory is the missing lifeboat. If the crew and passengers did indeed face a mutiny or pirate attack, the lifeboat would have been their only means of escape. However, there were no signs of violence or struggle on the ship, leading many to question if this theory holds water. Now, let's turn our attention to the reported sword mark on the ship's railing. Some believe this mark could be a sign of a pirate attack or a mutiny that turned violent. Yet without further evidence, it's hard to tell if this mark resulted from a fight or simply from regular wear and tear. But here's a twist. If pirates were involved, why was the ship's cargo of 1,701 barrels of alcohol left untouched? Pirates were notorious for seizing valuable goods, and this cargo would have been a significant haul. The untouched cargo casts a shadow of doubt on the pirate theory. Similarly, if there was a mutiny, wouldn't there be signs of a struggle or conflict? The ship was found in a relatively good condition, with no signs of a violent confrontation. This leads us to question the plausibility of a mutiny. So what do we have? A missing lifeboat, a questionable sword mark, and a ship left virtually untouched. Is this a tale of treachery on the high seas, or simply another attempt to explain the inexplicable? As with the other theories, it seems we're left with more questions than answers. A tale of treachery on the high seas, or simply another attempt to explain the inexplicable? From alcohol explosions to seaquakes, from waterspouts to mutiny, the Mary Celeste continues to baffle us. Each theory we've explored brings its own set of compelling arguments and intriguing evidence. The alcohol theory, with its potential for invisible fumes sparking a panic, the waterspout theory suggesting a monstrous waterspout frightened the crew into abandoning ship. The seaquake theory painting a picture of a terrifying underwater seismic event, and lastly the unsettling possibility of a mutiny or pirate attack, each contribute to the enigmatic allure of the Mary Celeste. Yet despite the compelling nature of these theories, none can definitively answer the haunting question: what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? This enduring enigma continues to fascinate us, drawing us into its vortex of mystery. Over a century later, the fate of the Mary Celeste's crew remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the sea, a riddle that time till now has chosen not to reveal.